Small Press Comics with Steve Keeter and me, Larned Justin. And today we'll be talking Small Press Comics with Floyd Sumner. How you doing, Floyd?
I'm doing fabulous. Yes.
We just have to wait 1 second for Steve to come back in the picture here.
Yeah, he disappeared.
Yeah, I think he got called away by somebody, and he'll be right back.
Who could that somebody be?
I don't know. Well, wait a minute. Here's somebody.
Yes.
Oh, it's not Steve, but it is
the Loathly Daddy.
All right. Haven't seen you for a while, Loathly.
That's right.
And Loathly doesn't talk a lot, but he does clench his teeth.
Yes. Yes. And what pearly whites they are. So. That's going to take another 10 minutes for Daddy to make an exit.
And then he'll lose his glasses and have to find those.
Yeah. Exactly.
There he is.
Hey, it's Steve Keeter.
Got the headset on. You ready now?
Yep.
Yeah. There's a reason that I did that. There's a reason that I did that.
All right.
And I'll show you the reason right here.
I think I know the reason.
This is the reason.
A Floyd caricature. Very cool.
The Floyd man did this drawing of me, and I guess that's Jim Maine.
That's Jim Maine. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, well, it turned out better for me than it did for Jim. He looked like one eye looked like Quasimodo.
Right out of his head.
That's how I picture Jim. So he's always like,
yeah. Well, he's the grim one, and you can see in this picture who the grim one is.
Yeah.
And this was in Posette number 50.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Posette number 50. Who did that cover? You didn't. Or Alan Freeman did that cover.
Oh,
yeah. It's funny because I have a book that Alan Freeman did the cover of too, and
yeah, we've got a couple of them.
Let me grab it real quick. Okay. It's my turn to take off now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, put on your costume, and we'll be right here. I'm looking through this book. That Posette number 50 was quite a great zine. But that's my favorite part, no doubt. Floyd Man's Illo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I met Alan at Stumptown in 2005, 2004.
Okay.
And that's when I was doing this thing called Kawump.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And Alan did.
I've seen that.
Yeah, Alan did the cover.
Look what I got. Look what I got.
Oh, you got that.
Yes, and I have the other somewhere. Yeah. We're on the same page. Right.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So he also did an interview in here, I believe, either this issue or the next issue. Oh, here it is.
Mm-hmm.
I did an interview with him actually. It was.
Oh, you interviewed him?
Yeah, 20 questions with Alan Freeman. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. But that was pretty much the last publication that I self-published. So.
Right. I was going through because I'm thinking I want to prep for this interview with the Floyd man. So I'm going through all my comics and zines. I got everything. They're in alphabetical order, but I can't remember which ones have work by you in them. So and I spent like a couple hours last night and another hour and a half this morning trying to find stuff. But it's buried because you don't publish that many books of your own, so you contribute to other people's zines, and so I don't have a.
But I have a bunch that I bet you've never seen before in your life. So
probably.
Do you do a lot of covers mainly?
Gosh, what did I do? I did a lot of covers. I did a lot of pinups. Most of Jim's early good-looking books, I did all the
as Robert Sumner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ooh, Robert Sumner. Now there's a name I've
Remember
not
that guy?
heard in a long time.
What caused the change?
The change in what?
Name.
Attitude and
First name. Attitude.
Attitude. Yep.
Well, okay. So I started going by Floyd since the 80s. When I first started publishing, I thought,
Okay.
I'll use my real name, and then I don't like it. There's too many Roberts. There's not enough Floyds in the world.
Too many Roberts.
Yes, and
I think your sister calls you Bobby, as I recall.
Yeah. My whole family does still, which I absolutely hate. So it was basically my chosen name, deriving from my obsession with Pink Floyd, and B.
Oh, that's cool.
It started in the 80s when I was I don't know if you guys have like outdoor school in school. Outdoor school's great. They send sixth graders away for a week to camp.
Mm-hmm.
And then so they have counselors and stuff, and we all pick funny names and stuff, and I picked Floyd, because I was Floyd, I was listening to Pink Floyd, and so a lot of my friends that I met there, they call me Floyd, and they always have, and I'm like, I like that, so I answer better to that now than Robert.
Yeah.
Is that your real name? Is your name Robert Floyd Sumner?
No, actually, I'm named after the losing Confederate General Robert E. Lee. So, Robert Lee. So
what is it? Robert Lee?
Lee, yeah.
Robert E. Lee?
No, just Robert Lee.
Robert Lee.
Okay. Sumner. Okay.
I was actually named after. I was named after my dad, in terms of Robert, but my dad's name was Charles. But his middle name was Robert, but he went by Bob. So, but he called me Zeke. So I have an identity crisis.
How do you know who you are?
I don't know who I am.
Identity crisis. You're a man of many names.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Oh, great.
So that's the whole Floyd. Floyd story. So, when Facebook started, I'm like, well, I don't just want to be Floyd. I want to be Floyd Man, So.
There you go.
There you go. It carries a certain weight with it, a certain gravitas.
Exactly. It's very superhero.
When did you get started in small press? How long you been involved?
Well, I just so happened to have the very first thing that was published.
Oh my gosh, really?
Oh my goodness.
Cool.
In small press. Oh, it was way back in 1981. It was.
Wow.
And it was there in Portland, because I'm in Oregon.
Yeah.
And in Portland, there was a guy called Mark L. Reed, and he published small press. And I had no idea what small press was.
Yeah.
And he published a book called The Monday Funnies. And he would have it at newsstands even.
Really?
And I'm like, I saw a thing on the news about him publishing, and I'm like, I was like 13 years old, or so.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, I want to get a comic in that. And so I contacted him, and he said, yeah, send something in. And me not knowing anything about the publishing process, what looks good printed, the fact that he was black and white, et cetera, et cetera. So it was actually Monday Funnies number 6.
Wow.
And he had 2 color covers, 3 color covers.
Wow.
And it's mid-mag size, and it just had local artists and stuff. That's not mine. Mine you can't even read, and it makes no sense. My first character that I created was Mr. Mum, and Mr. Mum was I mean, you guys are old like me, so I don't know.
A bunch of geezers there.
Exactly. Yeah. You guys are a little bit above me, actually. But I'm not here to insult you. No, I respect my elders. So
of course not, but I feel this. I feel this deeply. I feel this pain. This pain from what you just said. But just kidding. Just kidding.
No.
Anyway, I'm younger than that guy right there. I'm younger than him.
Right. You know I love you guys. So anyway, so there was a show called Make a Wish. Do you remember the show Make a Wish?
Oh, I remember that.
Right on.
Yep.
And it was Tom Chapin, which was Harry Chapin's brother, that hosted it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was
I remember that now. Yeah.
Oddly enough, it changed my life because it was on that one fateful Sunday morning that I was watching, and they had a cartoon on there, and it was The Strange World of Mr. Mum. And Mr. Mum is kind of like the precursor to The Far Side. It's just this guy. He never said anything. Weird things happen.
Yeah.
And all I remember is in the cartoon, this guy's bowling, and then when the ball goes to the pins all raise up. That's all I remember. But it stuck with me, and I'm like, I'm gonna draw Mr. Mum, and I created my own version of Mr. Mum. And I used to draw all these cartoons from my mom. They used to just be one little page things, and he'd always end up with him in bed, with the moon outside the window. And so when I found Monday Funnies, I wanted to do something big with Mr. Mum. So I wanted to do this great, sword and sorcery thing. So I called it Mummified. And and he rode like a unicorn Pegasus and stuff. But you can't. This is actually what it is.
Yeah.
Mummified. Let's see.
I see that. Okay.
And I drew it horizontal. First of all, I colored it with felt pen, and you can't even really read it because I didn't know how to letter. But
it looks good. The art looks really good. That looks pretty advanced.
Yeah, I was like 13 when I did that.
Wow, pretty neat.
Wow.
So yeah, that was
heavy blacks. Yeah.
Right. That was 1981. So
amazing.
This is the first issue of Monday Funnies that he did. So.
Oh yeah.
He ended up going 9. That was the only one that I had printed because I saw it and I'm like, I'm too embarrassed to do another one. And so, but he went 9 issues with that. He also had another book called Shocking Fear, which I thought was a great title. And I have those too. But so I actually, in the back of my mind, one of my ideas is to do like a horror anthology. And I thought, man, Shocking Fear is such a great title. And I actually got in touch with him about 5 years ago, I think. And I said, if I do a horror anthology, can I use that name? And he's like, oh yeah, go ahead. So that might be in the works eventually if I get rich and famous. But
Shocking Fear, I like that title.
Yeah, and if you look closely in that issue of Swell that you have there, Larned,
yeah, I got one right here.
The name of the band of Monsters of Rock is called Vic and the Shocking Fears.
Oh yeah.
So I have used it already, but
yeah.
That's amazing. From all those years ago to get around to doing that.
Right. So then after that, I spent 10 years trying to get through school and, working bad jobs and still drawing, And so in 1991, I believe, was my first self-published thing. And that's the Saga of Space Cat Oriole.
Oh, wow.
Wow. And I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. This was my very, very first thing that I did. And it was, I knew nothing about publishing. So it's 8.5 by 11 staple.
Yeah, I did that too.
Yeah, we all did
that.
Yeah, and it's not a bad story, it's the Friskies Jewel, because all the names had something to do with like the dog soldiers were the dog soldiers of Valpo, the cats lived on planet Purina, and so
Purina.
Yeah, and so they're searching for this Friskies Jewel, and it's just, it was fun. So, but I did 3 issues of that. So, yeah, and that's that. So, you guys talk for a while because I'm like taking over here. So.
Yeah, I'm still blown away by this issue of Swell Comics.
Yes.
Issue number 1. And our favorite story was this one.
Yes. The Basher Boys from East Berlin.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. I got the biggest laugh out of this.
That is Basher Boys. You know, I told you the story of how they were created. But yeah, Helmut and Dolph, they're something else. They're you know, they were created with me and my brother in art, Randy Lee Prinsloo, who's no longer with us.
Mm-hmm.
And that story there is actually the longest comic story from start to finish that I've ever drawn.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How many pages?
16.
16.
16 pages. Pretty amazing, you know. I mean, when you look at some of this artwork, you know, of course, you always, you know, usually draw in a very exaggerated style.
Right.
You can see the, you know.
Well, and not just that, but all the stuff hidden in the backgrounds. Like, I don't know if you noticed on that page, up in the top left, top right, the
little glare on it.
Paul Newman singing "Raindrops Are Falling on My Head" as they're riding the bike.
I did see that. I did see that when I read this.
Kind of stuff in there, and there's actually a couple references to Randy because he created it, and of course the book is dedicated for Randy. But he had a character called the Shadow Fool. And Shadow Fool is something else. He's really cool. And I have a character called Black Mirth, which is part of his universe. But on this page, barely you can just see right there in the corner is a Shadow Fool billboard. You can't really read it, but the original.
What page is that? They're not numbered, so.
Yeah, see, I did number the pages. It's like, oh yeah, this is on page this is on page that, but I never put numbers on the page.
But it's a great story. It's just unbelievable.
And then there's
hilarious.
He also had a great character called Killer Cat, who was based on Sarah Connor, Terminator, and she was like a badass bounty hunter. And I think I put somewhere in here. There's a Killer Cat bail bonds.
I just remember these guys. The must pound.
The must pound.
The must pound.
Well, see, Dolph is the sensitive one, and Helmut's the more kind of, you know, logical one. So
this is awesome. When did you do this story?
That I just finished right before I published the book.
You just finished it. Is that the one you said you started a while back and then you finally finished it?
Actually, in the pages of number 3, which I don't know if I have a copy of.
I was going through my collection. Wasn't it mostly a mini comic?
No,
maybe not every issue.
Was a magazine size.
Okay, well, it could be a different than the one that I'm thinking of. You know, maybe somebody else used that title as well.
Size 1, but of course, I don't have number 3 handy. Anyway, yeah. So.
Oh, we got a nice view of your room here. You can see all the stuff hanging on the walls.
Art dungeon. Yes.
This room has character. There's no doubt about it.
Where the magic happens. But Basher Boys actually did on some pretty good size paper. So,
just a second.
Back in the 50s, you know, EC Comics, they did really large. I think it was 15 by 22. So this is some of the original.
Let's see. Oh yeah. Wow.
And it's on heavy duty illustration board, which I love.
How do you
really
how do
nice.
you know how to make the size of the word balloon?
I don't. I thought that I really do. If you look at the issue, the lettering is all different size font.
Because that's got to be hard to do.
It is, and I just guesstimate, you know. So
it looks great.
The lettering is this computer lettering or?
It is.
It is computer lettering.
It's a font from Comic Craft called Joe Kubert.
Oh.
So.
Yeah.
which is my favorite comic book font. There, I have a whole bunch of them. I have tons of fonts.
Joe Keeter. It looks it's perfect. It really is.
Yes, I dig Swell's comics.
Who does the stickers for you?
I go through Vinyl Disorder.
Vinyl what?
Disorder.
Okay.
Yeah, and they always got deals going on, and they're really cheap. Well, and they do great work. And
it's really a nice sticker, nice looking sticker. Yeah. I like it. Really
yeah,
good.
That's where I get all my stickers.
I dig it.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's something that you did, or you did the front cover for Jim Maine's Smorgasbord.
Yes. I have that hanging up just right over there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's gorgeous. That's gorgeous. Gorgeously grotesque. It's really
well. You know that one.
Very well done.
Monster has a story too, actually. And he's probably going to be in. Which issue was he in? It might be the first issue. This is This is what I went on after Space Cat Oreo. I did and was a place for my stuff. And this issue was printed on the office copier, which was the worst possible thing I could have printed it on. It had like black marks and just, it was nasty. But they let me print it on there. So, but yeah, this is just this one's not even stapled. So. And let me see. This was also the first appearance of Sergeant Roadkill.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about Sergeant Roadkill. What books did he appear in?
He first appeared in number 1, and then eventually, with number 3, number 3, because I don't go more than 3 or 4 issues per issue for some reason. Number 3, I put an ad in saying, "Oh, coming soon, Sergeant Roadkill's Fanboy Journal." I had no idea what I was going to do with it. But you probably remember this one. So Sergeant Roadkill's Fanboy Journal. That's the 3rd issue, 4th issue, 4th issue. Yeah, with Mr. Dark, and so that was where I really started getting more serious. With color covers and not caring that I was spending much more money printing it than what I was making because it was small press. We didn't make anything.
Typical, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so Sergeant Roadkill, it was a thick book, and I had my buddies, all join in and send stuff in. That's
always good. Yeah.
And then of course Mr. Dark was my big story, which maybe someday I'll reprint. I don't know. But yeah, so and then this is
how do you do your colors?
How do I do my colors? I do it all on computer, all on Photoshop.
It's all on the computer. What program?
Photoshop.
Okay.
Photoshop, but I do have the Retro Supply kits. And Retro Supply is great because they have the kits that can make it look like a vintage old comic, which is what I was doing.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to ask you, how did you make it look like newsprint?
They have textures.
And
newsprint textures, and I just put them over,
Yeah, that really was a neat effect, I thought.
Yeah, I made sure not to cover up Eric Estrada's teeth, though. So.
Right.
That's the only white thing in the book. So.
It's the only thing he's remembered for.
Yeah. But yeah, my friend, my brother Randy, he did this Erica X.
Oh, yeah.
And he was so outrageous. I mean, he didn't care. He wasn't racist. He wasn't, he was the nicest guy. He taught me everything I know about pop culture in the 60s and 70s. Yep. The only white thing in the book. But yet his comics, he did like caricature, totally outrageous, the Japanese guy. And I mean, they're all tongue in cheek, so.
Yeah.
And who was this? I'm sorry. Who was this?
Randy Lee Prinsloo.
Oh, I thought you said it was your brother. I'm sorry.
I think of him as my brother.
Oh, I got you.
We're so close.
I got you.
We hit it off right away. We met at a convention, and I just knew right away. I'm like, this guy, he's cool, and we got it. And he's the one that I took a trip to San Diego Con with on the train, which was an experience all in itself.
I'll bet, yeah. But you're in Oregon, so.
You ever do anything out east, out our way, or are you pretty much in the West?
My goal is to go on tour and hit every state and do a show. That's what I would love to do. Yeah. In reality, I don't have that money. I know that I would not even break even probably if I didn't have a hotel. And,
no way.
And
as good as
we have
so hard to do.
Right.
Yeah. We have MegaCon here in Orlando. That's a big convention.
Yeah. And the one I've always gone to is Space in Columbus, Ohio.
That is on my bucket list.
You need to hit that. I mean,
if I don't hit any other one, that's the one that I want to hit.
Yeah.
Well, Larned and I were at Space last year. We made a video. We couldn't make it this year, but I'm determined to make it next year. It's really important. So we should all meet next year.
Yeah, I would love to. One of the problems is it happens pretty much whenever the one here in town happens that my roadie / roommate is organizing. And, I can't let him down.
I think Space a lot of times is in April.
Yeah.
Is that when
his show's in April too. So
yeah, okay. Yeah. You have to be careful.
I'm getting ready to go to Reno this weekend for the Silver Age Comic Con, which I do really well at.
Oh, great.
And so that should be a lot of fun. So.
And then you can gamble it all away while you're there.
Oh, that was last year. There's one of my artist buddies who's also a guest. His name's Luis Riviera. Very awesome artist. I mean, professional quality. And so he's like gambling and winning because he's like almost like a professional gambler. And I'm like, yeah, I'll go gamble with Luis, no, maybe some of his luck will rub off. And I gambled and it was working for a little bit, but now I still owe him $20. So
yeah, you got to quit when you're ahead.
Yeah.
Then go to the casino and all that. It's just light your money on fire at home.
Exactly. I'm getting better. I'm getting better though. But I mean, I kid you not. I made so much money last year. I had a stack of bills. Almost everybody paid cash like this. And I'm like, I can't carry this on the plane. What do I do? Oh, I'll put it in the machines and then I'll cash out for bigger bills and it'll be less. And then while I'm doing that, I'm like, this is a great idea. And then it's like, I'll just play a couple of rounds.
Yeah.
And it went from here to back.
Yeah. Never failed.
This year it's a 2-day show, so I'll probably have a stack.
Yeah. What price fun? If you're having fun,
exactly.
What price?
Exactly. Oh, and let me tell you, if you ever go to Reno, I got to put a plug in for this place. Another thing on my bucket list is to get a pastrami sandwich from Katz's Deli in New York City someday. But since I can't do that, Reno at the Atlantis, they have the Manhattan Deli. And this sandwich, I swear, I've never had another sandwich like it. It literally melts in your mouth. It is so good. And so I'm still looking forward to getting another one of
those. You're making me hungry.
Oh, sorry. Let's talk comics then.
Yeah, right.
So it came out, and I did 4 issues. The thing was, Jim Pack loved and that's when I first discovered the Comicist, and that's when I started getting into the Small Press Network. A lot of people, it was with Small Press Comics Explosion, Tim Corrigan.
Yeah, that's.
I didn't even know about that. Yeah. I got the Comicist, and I'm like, this is awesome.
The Comicist.
So I in my books, and he liked them all except for the one that cost me the most to make, and I put the most into, and he hated that one. So
he didn't like that.
That was number 4. Yeah.
Jim was a great guy, man. I miss him. I met him at Chicago Con a couple of years in a row in the late 1980s. And he had the Comicist or the Comicist. And it wasn't on a grand scale like SPCE and Tim Corrigan stuff, but it was a really cool book. And I guess he did most or all of the reviews in there, but I can't really remember. But
it was... both that and Small Press Comics Explosion, they were highly instrumental when I did
this
Colump.
Yeah, me too.
This is the first issue of Colump. I don't know if you have that one, Steve.
Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think so. Not right now. No.
This was the one where it's like I wanted to do something, and I'm like, I'm going to see if I can do a review zine in 24 hours, and that's what this turned out to be. And so then everybody loved this one, so I'm like, okay, now let's see what it can really do if I have time, And that's when the second issue came out, the one with the Alan Freeman cover. So, and that's when I really, that's the third issue.
Yeah, Colump had a lot of reviews. Here's Colump Fall Winter 2007.
Yeah,
and you're reviewing.
I'm reviewing everything.
The Skeets Fan Forum.
Yes.
The trade paperback.
Oh yeah, I hated it, didn't I?
I just came across this right now. I wasn't planning this. Of course, I'm always.
See, highly recommended. Highly recommended.
I don't know. I mean, remember when you did the interview?
Well, I had so many books because there was a show that they did in Portland called Stumptown Comic Fest. And Stumptown was awesome because it was kind of like space. It was like, it's just for us creators who create comics. Mm-hmm. And so I went there and I was like, hey, I do a review zine. I go to each table. I do a review zine. Here's my card. Would you like to contribute a copy for review? And I ended up with like a stack of free books.
Right.
Like right on. Yeah. So then I reviewed them all for Colump, And, I regret not doing the fourth issue because it was started and it had an awesome oh god, let me remember his name. It had an interview with him and he did the horror stuff. I know you guys know who he is, but I can't his name.
I don't know.
Now, do I have
horror stuff? I don't know. Jeff Gaither? I don't know.
Yes, Jeff Gaither. Thank you.
Was that him?
Yes. I had an awesome cover. I had an interview with him, and that's about all I had for it. And I kind of ran out of steam, and I'm just like, man, I didn't do it. But I regret it because that cover, oh my God, you would have died. It was such a
oh my God. He's terrific. Jeff Gaither is terrific.
He is.
He makes the grotesque beautiful
too. So, which I kind of do. I dabble in. So,
yeah.
But
I've published a lot of his stuff over the years, especially in Skeets Fan Forum and Review. Right. He sent me a million spot illos, and they were all throughout those issues.
Is my favorite. And I know you know which one I'm talking about with the Batman and the fangs and the
yeah. That was a great drawing. Yeah,
it was. So
like I say, grotesque but beautiful. I mean,
exactly.
Well done.
So Colump, that lasted 3 issues, and I can't believe how much work I put into that because it's like I wrote most everything, and I did all the reviews and all the news, and it turned out to be like 48 pages or something,
Oh man.
So
it's got articles. It has a letters column. It has news. It has reviews. Right. All kinds of stuff
and also
in here.
A lot of the artists that I used or that I found are doing big stuff now. A couple of them, like for the back cover of this issue, it's actually David DeGrand, and his stuff. He ended up working on the Popeye comic. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. Wow. And he does some crazy stuff. And I saw his art, and I'm like, dude, you got to do a back cover for me. And he's like, okay. So,
I got to ask you, Floyd, your association with Mad. Because when I was a kid, I mean, that's all I cared about was Mad Magazine.
Right.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I hate to disappoint you, but I have no association with
you don't? We thought you did.
No, I would love to work for Mad, yes.
I thought you did.
No, I didn't work
for
Mad.
This is one of the things. This is one of the things you mentioned that you wanted to correct that I said. Was it cracked?
Yeah.
Was it cracked and not Mad?
No, it wasn't even cracked. I didn't even get that far. Cracked though was David Byrnes. If you remember Dave Byrnes. He worked for Crack. However, there is a new magazine. I wonder if I have it.
I could have sworn you worked for Matt.
I know, and I laughed when you first said that. I was like,
yeah, you would have been the best.
I was like, maybe I shouldn't say anything.
Yeah, you should have just said, yeah.
So there's a new one though. It's Andrew Goldfarb, which I don't know if you guys are familiar.
I know who he is.
Okay, and he does
the name.
Yeah.
And I will soon be appearing in Freaky Magazine. So.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah, we're working on a couple of things. So.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I would Mad Man. I mean, because obviously I'm highly influenced by it. You know.
Oh yeah.
I have behind me that. You know.
Yeah, I saw that in the back there. Oh yeah, look at that.
This is like my Bible. This is like the Mad Artist Edition. It's so awesome because it's like from the original pages.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's just so. I mean, it inspires me so much. It's all getting worn out, which is too bad because it's worth a lot of money, but I don't care. It's my inspiration.
A number of years ago, they reprinted all the 50s Mads, and I have all those reprints.
Yeah.
And I had the originals when I was a kid. But
yeah, I never did. I have the archives. I have like a Mad shelf over there.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bunch of issues. There's the slipcover Russ Cochran Panic. And then a couple of the archives. I can't afford the archives now. They're crazy.
Really? Wow.
Right.
Yeah. And then the Maddest Artist ones. So, but
yeah.
And then up there is Tom Richmond, his different Draculas.
Oh, Dracula. That's another subject we need to touch on sometime.
I knew it. I have a couple pages started. I don't know where they are. I don't know. It is still. I have not.
That for you, Steve?
I will get it done someday.
Is he doing that for you?
It would be cool.
Yeah.
Floyd, he has a script written by Chuck Robinson II. Chuck Robinson, who got me started at Small Press. And he's been sitting on it for like 10 years. Maybe not quite that long. Yeah. It would be cool to see it published. And he's been an influence anyway on that series.
It's like, God, I mean, I know how I want to do it, but do I know how I want to do it? Because when Wade Busby did it and Floyd choked, I believe.
And both of those guys passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I'm almost scared to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's vampires, so you'll come back. It's okay.
Right. Especially since one of them was named Floyd, So.
Right, that's right. Floyd choked. Anyway, well, I hope you finish it one of these days. I'll wait.
I have some stuff laid.
But I know you're extremely busy, and I know you get paid for your work normally. You're a professional, and so I understand all that, But if you get a chance, if you feel like it, whatever.
It's still always in the back of my mind.
Yeah. Okay. And how much money do you want? Think about it.
I literally looked at my bank account this week, and it said $6.66.
Oh no!
I got the same amount that I do.
Yeah, I'm like, thank God I'm going to Reno this week.
Yeah.
I got something else here. Who published this?
I did not publish it. However, I do consider it my book because about Unabashedly Trashed. Here's the skivvy. Me and a bunch of the Garbage Pail Kids artists, they were like, we should do a comic book, and they know nothing about comic books.
Right.
And so for the longest time, they're like, hey, are we going to do a comic book? And yeah, we should do a comic book. And oh, well, this and that. And they're humming and hawing. And I'm just watching and laughing, and saying, it's just amateurs. And so finally I'm like, okay, I can't stand this anymore. And I got in the conversation. I'm like, you guys want to do a comic book? Like Mel Gibson said in Mad Max, come talk to me. So, and so I told him, I said, okay, this is what we got to do. You guys got to get stories in. You got to do this. You got to do that. I will be the editor. I will do the production. I will do this, I will do that, and the other thing, and they didn't even have a title. I named it, you know. I'm like, well, you know, we're Team Trash, so let's call it Unabashedly Trashed. And they're like, okay, that sounds good. So then I did the logo, and then I did the cover, and meanwhile I was getting little stuff trickling in, you know, and I'm kind of kicking them in the butt, you know, trying to get them going and stuff. And I said, don't do any continuing stories. And so what does Brendan Snyder does? He does a continuing story. Too big. And I said, here's my idea. I want it to be, because we're a crazy group, you know, we're out of control. I want it to be like Mad Magazine, Crack Magazine. And so what does Mike Stephens do? But he does this like insightful, you know, piece that's like kind of dark, and I'm like, it doesn't really fit, but it's cool. I love it. You know, it's great. Yeah. It turned out all right. And so there's good stuff, there's bad stuff. And then I did the 4-page, I think it was 4 pages story of the flipped out the And you
did this.
And that, which I reprinted in Swell, along with the Jason one too, I believe. So that was
America.
Done. Yeah, that was done originally for Trash, but then I'm like, well, I'm going to color it. I'm going to use it in Swell because I get a full page. And
I like that name. Snack Lives Matter.
Let's see what's on the opposing page there. I just got a glimpse of it. Show the other page.
That is from Becky Sharp, and it's a zombie.
Let's see that.
Steve,
show the
I see that too.
I wanted to see that.
Let me tell you.
Oh, wow.
She is incredible. She's an incredible artist. She's from the UK, and she's pretty damn hot. And you already, if you're watching Becky, you already know that, you know.
So these were all people who were the artists for Garbage Pail Kids.
Yes, all of them are sketch artists for tops for Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah, you mentioned a 4-page strip. Is this you?
Yes.
That's
the Uploader of Terror.
Strip. Wow.
Yeah.
Which I wanted to do like an EC type style. So. Yeah,
definitely, I can see that.
Yeah, and that might be reprinted in a future issue of Swell. But yeah,
in a Floyd Man strip, nothing is subtle. Everything is, absolutely mad.
Yeah, it's out of control.
Not that he's not capable, but this is what he enjoys doing. This is what we enjoy seeing too, so it's okay.
Right, because it's, so you wonder why I kind of went away from small press a little bit in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
There's a number of reasons. I wasn't making any money, but another. I already knew that going in.
Yeah, right.
It was actually because of Steve Keeter, and I didn't like his attitude. So no.
I was a jerk, man. I was a jerk back in those days. You know?
I'm kidding.
All right.
I kind of switched from making comics to doing production for Jim for many years in the mid-90s.
Jim Maine.
Yeah. And that's right. And then actually I got married and I had my son, and unfortunately I spent more time on Jim's books than with my son. There's that. And so it just kind of was that, and I was like, I gotta, because I have to create. That's just what I'm here to do.
Right, you're born to do that. You can't. You cannot deny that.
Right, it's my passion, and after 58 years, I'm trying all these different jobs, and nothing's working. I'm like, this is not it, and so that's why I kind of, it's sink or swim time, but I was like, which way do I go? Because I can paint, I can airbrush. Do I airbrush skateboards? Do I paint? Do I do fine art? Do I do this?
You did some skateboards before, right? Didn't you airbrush? Because I saw those.
I have airbrushed some skateboards. I've airbrushed and painted some shoes, and stuff. And I didn't know which way to go. It's like, so So that's about the time that sketch cards started popping up.
There we go.
Because those weren't a thing in the 90s. And then, and I never thought I would be drawing Garbage Pail Kids. But I was a wacky package guy. I love wacky packages. I have almost all the wacky packages from the 70s. That's what kind of helped shaped me into, what's going on here. But I didn't know much about Garbage Pail Kids because that came out when I graduated from high school. I was chasing girls and, trying to just survive. And so, Dustin Graham, who was an amazing Garbage Pail Kids sketch artist, he says, Floyd, you should post your stuff on the Garbage Pail Kids site or page on Facebook. And I'm like, well, I don't do Garbage Pail Kids. And he's like, well, just see what they think. And so I did, and they loved it. And then everybody's like, man, you should be working for Tops. They're hiring sketch artists. And I'm like, well, I just want to do wacky packages. But nobody would give me the connection to Tops. And I'm like, they're like, you should do it. And I'm like, well, what's the contact? They're like, well, I don't think I should give that out. And I'm just like, fine. So I figured out who the art director was. And I went straight to his personal website. And I sent some samples. And I said, I want to do wacky packages. And he saw them and he said, great, And the next thing I know, they're like, because wacky packages, I remember as a kid, man, 1973, running to the drugstore with my quarter, buying my packs, chewing the cardboard gum, sticking them everywhere. I love wacky packages. And so it was part of my life. And next thing I know, I get an invite saying, hey, do you want to do sketch cards for the 50th anniversary of Wacky Packages? And I'm like, yeah, that's like a dream come true. And so once I got on with Wacky Packages, Garbage Pail Kids kind of came with the territory. So when they sent out invites for that, they sent out, to all the artists that are working there. And I started doing Garbage Pail Kids, which I appreciate a lot more now, And
are you still doing that?
I actually declined the last two sets, mainly because there's a lot going on at Tops behind the scenes that I don't agree with. Mainly money. The collectors are great. I love the collectors, and they will pay top dollar for cards, which I love. And I love doing them for them and stuff. But Tops itself.
You got any samples there?
Oh, do I? I don't think I have any cards. I did get to do a couple base cards for Wacky Packages too, which was awesome.
When you go to a convention, you have a lot of people, fans of Wacky Packages or Garbage Pail Kids that come.
That's what they know me for. They don't know me for small press. They don't know me for small. And that's kind of what I'm trying to break away from, so that they do know me for what I do, But I do have. I did a couple sketch covers. Where the heck did I do them?
What's the original size of a card? What's your
the original size of a card is, and I just have to have one of my Rocking Dead cards here to show, which is John Joplin, which is my favorite.
Yeah,
this was my set that I did. Yeah, and they have like a description on the back.
And you do that? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I did that. So Jaundice Joplin. Jaundice is proof that Jaundice is proof that even in the world of zombie rock, there is still room for female flesh eaters. While belting out great tunes like "Piece of My Heart" with a side of brains, and me and Bobby McBleed, she is one hard-rotting woman and is never going to stop unless she sees a nice, tasty fan.
That is awesome.
So each one has a description on the back. It's a set of 10. And they're 2.5 by 3.5 inch to answer.
Yeah, and your working size?
That is the working size.
Really?
I'm working on a set.
You're that small?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they'd be reduced
for R.R. Parks. Richard Parks' his Halloween trick or treat set. That's
I see. Okay, I did not know that.
In the back, I have some samples of those that I've got done here, but these are great because I can draw whatever the heck I want. So
yeah.
So, yeah. I just drew a bunch of cool. There's a cool zombie.
Oh yeah! Wow.
So yeah, they're just a lot of fun, and he pays better than Tops, and treats his artists better.
There you go. Yeah. That's okay. Go ahead.
They come you get the whole set in a pack. That's the pack.
How many is in there?
There's 10 cards and a bonus card, and the bonus card could be a sticker, could be a duo card, or could be an original sketch card by me or one of my Garbage Pail Kid buddies that I have.
Oh, that's cool.
Or the creme de la creme, which is the metal card.
Ooh.
It's actually printed on metal.
Printed on metal.
This is the Italica one. And,
very nice.
And it's got a description on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. It's nice and shiny. So look at that. But yeah, so
where are those available? Where can we get them?
You can't get them for long because I've got about 8 packs left.
From you?
Yes.
Directly from you?
Yes. But if you look at that questionable, is it real, is it fake ad in the back of Swell?
It's in there, huh? Okay.
It's in there. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Now we can do it.
Yeah. But I'm going to Reno and I'll probably sell out. So
I just found this cover. I think you did this cover. This is for a BPP, a jam comic.
Yeah, and I think I did a couple pages in there too. That one.
Now I know you were in. You probably did. Let me see. But I know you were in. This looks like your art. Is that your art? This looks like your art.
That is my art.
Yeah.
Wow. That's better than I remember.
Yeah, it looks great. If I could just hold the thing still for the camera. But you were in the UFO, the United Fanzine Organization, for a short while in the 1990s. Not long. I think you said you didn't even get around to publishing anything.
I don't think I did. I think I was in maybe a month, 2 months.
Yeah. And then there was a revival of the original BP. Well, that wasn't. It was a whole new co-op. But it was named.
I admit, so that's my fault.
It was named after the BPP, which was the forerunner of the UFO.
It was the BPP.
Not to get complicated. Blue Plaque Publications, and you were actually chairman for a short while there.
And I killed it. Yeah, I was the last.
You didn't kill it, because I said when you interviewed me, we talked about it. Now I looked into this. Okay, just give me a second. Okay.
Okay.
Just a second.
He's gonna set the record straight.
Yeah.
All these nights staying up, crying about the BPP, and now the truth comes out.
Yep.
I
Okay.
was chairman and Sam was co-chairman, I believe.
Right. You were co-chairman. Co-chairman.
No, Sam Gafford was co-chairman. Because I was printing some of the issues. Adam
you guys
Owen
worked
was doing the
together.
covers. He would send them to me. I'd print them, I believe. And I took everybody's money and ran. So.
Okay. Yeah. There's this one. The Blues Letter number 39. We called it the Blues Letter. That's not your artwork, but pretty cool.
No, that's not Adam Owen, is it? He did a lot of the covers. Adam Owen did some amazing covers on the BPP newsletter. So
it says Lonesby. What was the guy's name? Larry Lonesby.
Larry Lonsby.
Yeah, that's who did that cover.
Yeah.
So. Okay, that was 38. Now, I was going through these because you mentioned that you thought, that when you quit being chairman, the group fell apart. Actually, the group didn't fall apart at that point.
It flourished. It thrived without me.
not exactly. Okay, this is the Blues Letter. The Blues Letter number 46.
Right.
That might be a Larry Lonsby cover. Looks like. I mean, Adam Owen. And
I have all.
You were the chairman. You were the chairman here. You have a column in here by Floyd.
Yeah. See.
Okay. So I did a little investigation just today. I was trying to work this out. The thing is, this was to figure out what happened. Well, this is issue number 46. Now, I seem to be missing a couple of issues, number 47 and 48. Now, by that time, number 49 and 50, the Jim Maine was taking over again, but it wasn't hard copy. It was all online. I just happened to go online and print out my own copies. So I have a copy.
Okay.
I have a print copy of the last 2 UFO newsletters. And this one here, Jim Main says, now it's official, since no one else has thrown their hats into the ring. Brian Wayne Powell and I are now the new co-chairmen of the BPP for the term of March 2009 to February 2010, but it didn't last that long. And this was the last issue of the Blues Letter. So you had already you were already out of it. Well, you weren't chairman at that time.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they all cursed my name too. So.
Yeah, and I did mention that I contacted.
Yeah.
No. What did you say? I screwed that one up, right? But anyway.
Well, again, I was going through a lot at that time too because of my marriage and my son and my everything.
Okay, that's okay. And number 50, the last Blues Letter. Again, it was online only, which is the death of any co-op. I will never let the UFO go strictly online. That's the end when you do that. It's got to be print.
Because it changes the whole schematic of the thing. You know?
Yeah, it's not the same, and it's here and it's gone. You go online, you look at it, and it's gone. You forget it, but you have a print copy of something. That's forever. Now this one, Jim Main has a column right at the beginning, and he says, "Well, gang, here it is, Blues Letter number 50, a milestone for the group. Who'd have ever thought we'd get this far? Sad to say, though, this is the last issue of the Blues Letter. Because this is the end of Blue Plaque publications. So that's when it officially ended.
Okay.
Right there. And then the remaining members of the BPP moved over to the UFO, and the two groups reunited. And that's the history. I just wanted to clear that up.
No, I'm glad you did, because I had no idea that was going on.
Speaking of ending, we are a little over an hour now.
Oh, no.
We have found that the audience doesn't last real long.
Okay.
Sorry, audience.
Don't. No.
One more thing.
Larned, no. I've had 2 more things to show. Number 1.
Extended episode.
Yeah.
No. Floyd Mann's cover for The Shadow of Dracula, the last issue, which I hope there will be another issue.
I hope so
wink,
too.
Wink,
really.
Nudge, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. And the other thing is this incredible cover for something that we talked about when Floyd interviewed me on his podcast. His cover for the book that Sam Gafford and I did together, the Don Knotts tribute zine, The Incredible Mr. Knotts.
Oh, wow.
Zoom it in. I don't even know where my copy is.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a great book. Well, I think it's a great book.
Actually, that cover, that picture on that, he is actually supposed to be more not this way, but more this way. But I had to stretch it out to fit the page. So the original is more square, but.
But it still looks great. I'm glad I have my copy. That was a really good one. So, okay, Larned, you can end it now, pal.
No, I just wanted to.
Yeah, I didn't even get to talk about Mondo Flawed.
Go ahead and talk about it.
Do it.
So Mondo Flawed was when Jim Main wanted to do a APA, horror APA.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, that sounds cool, so I'll do something. And so Mondo Flawed, I did a story on late night horror hosts, and it was just so much fun that I'm like, well, I'm going to keep this going just as my own book. So second issue, of course, I took my love of wacky packages and did a wacky package issue.
Oh.
And then the third issue was when I was like starting to get into like tiki culture, so I did the tiki issue. So, and this one, that's when Randy passed away, so that's actually him.
Oh my gosh!
And he was just something else. But yeah,
when did you do these? When did you do these?
What year are these?
These were, let's see, I was living at the coast, and it was 2000. I think it was. Oh well, it had to be 2005 because that's when he passed.
2005.
Yeah, so in between 2000 and 2005, and we also did the 2001 Altered Fates yearbook.
Wow!
And this was done when I joined forces with Mike Haig, who did Systems of Desire, who's a good friend.
Oh, yeah.
And he still is a good friend of mine. And then way back in the day, I did the Iron Fan newsletter. And this is one that you guys probably haven't seen.
You've done a million things, Floyd.
Because I was a huge Iron Man fan. And this one was cool because I decided to do a special cover.
Oh, yeah.
So I did my gimmick cover.
That is very cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it actually turned out pretty good. And I did, of course, had to do parody. The Unrinsable Ironing Man.
Based on that Gene Colan cover, yeah.
Yeah, but I had like some guys, I would just talk about Iron Man, and I'd had guys doing art and sending me, articles and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. So.
Wow.
But again, my fourth issue curse, so.
On Facebook, it says you work at Monster Wax. What is Monster Wax?
Oh, Monster Wax was awesome. That was one of the first card companies that I started working for. He's actually in Florida, and he does some great card series. I did Monsters and Maniacs, and if you look him up, he's got a lot of really cool sets that I would love to have.
Okay.
But yeah, Monster Wax was Kurt, I think his name is. So I haven't worked. He hasn't done anything for a while, so I haven't really. But yeah. So now it's mainly commissions. I'm focusing on Swell, and I'm hoping to keep that going. Who knows?
Definitely, you should.
I may do the Shopping Fear book.
Yeah.
And just I'm working on an album cover for album called A Fistful of More Rock and Roll, which is done by Sal Canzioni, who does Electric Frankenstein, and I've done the Green Jelly covers, Green Jello, Green Jelly,
yeah,
4 covers for them. So I'm.
What's going on?
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Then you have to do your trip across the United States, doing every show you can find. You need to get that fit in there somewhere.
I would love
space.
To do that.
Space is a must.
It is. I'm telling you, it's not out of the question because
the guy that runs it, Bob Corby, is one nice guy.
Exactly. Yeah, that's just it. I'd love to be Bob Corby. I'd love to be, Michael Carroll. I'd love to be, all those guys. And it's too bad.
Matt Fizel usually goes there.
But and I might even love to meet Ian Shires. I don't know.
I met Ian Shires. Did you see our video of the Space Con last year?
Yeah.
It's so funny because
He's really funny.
Because deep inside, I love Ian Shires. I do. Ian, if you're watching, I love you, man. But I still consider you my arch nemesis. So, be that as it may.
Well, I want to thank you, Floyd.
I want to thank you guys. This has been awesome.
We really enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was awesome.
Yeah, I was hoping there would be a lot of fun. So.
All right, we're going to wrap it up, and we'll see you, I guess, in the funny papers.
Yes, you will. You will see me in the pages of Swell. So.
Okay, don't forget about Swell.
Yeah, if you want a copy, it's not on my website yet, but planetfstudio@gmail.com. Just drop me a line. It's still only $6.
Only $6.
Even though it's the first issue, it's still only $6.
Well worth it.
You can't go wrong.
32 pages, full color.
Yeah. Wow.
So
full color.
Yep.
All right. We'll see you guys.
All right, guys. Thanks
See
again.
you next time. All right, I'm gonna end it.
Right on.
Adios.